Toni Storm.
Yeah, we're talking about Toni Storm. We're talking about her live, ladies and gentlemen. So, hello and welcome. Welcome, hello. Thank you for joining us on the maddest of March editions of Total Spotfest. That's Jamie. I'm JJ. That's our champion, Austin Reddick down there. I'm still bitter.
This is your esteemed champion, newest member of the FWO, Rock and Roll Austin Reddick.
Rock and roll. Okay.
Shoulders to the mic.
Rock and roll.
He's going with the rock and roll gimmick. What's up, Big Rob? Hello. Well, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining us in here. We're going to talk about some wrestling here on us. I'm in the mood here. I'm in the mood for at least one match of March Madness. We'll see how long my team lasts, but hope everybody's brackets are filled out with the most crazy upset picks. Maybe this is the year someone gets a perfect bracket. Who knows? We should do We should do like a gimmick bracket or something one year.
Like have people vote on it. He knows.
I've been thinking about that. I finally have, for the first time in like 6 weeks, I have a weekend off from wrestling. I might throw something together for next week's show. Like we should do
Okay.
because what's nice is we got a panel of 3, so there's always a majority.
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe we'll do a bracket of gimmick matches and vote for the greatest gimmick
Gotta
match.
be on there.
Let's go. Fuck a poll. I don't care. I'm killing the algorithm.
That thing's making the final 4, bro.
we will see. All right. Well, yes, our new champion here. For those of you who missed it, we do have the pre-show up on our channel. Yes, the audio was scuffed there. Best laid plans did not work out well. So the first That was the first 7 or 8 minutes. So apologies for that. You can skip forward on it. The audio was fine because we started using the mic built in until the show got close to start. Then it was just a loud mess. We will get that figured out. We had a great time this past weekend. For those of you in Kansas City who weren't there, Fountain City Pro back in action. Light It Up 2 was this past Friday. One Mr. Austin Reddick was in a triple threat match. He got triple stuffed.
Trios match.
Trios
match.
Trios. God, I always mess that up. A 6-man tag match. Where there was some shenanigans by one Mr. Ray Leone, Mr. Oh, I'm not so hurt anymore.
He cracked me in the back with the crutch, which is kind of a dick move if you ask me. But I like to focus on the positive. And for maybe the first time in pro wrestling history, at least with what I'm familiar with, and I've watched a lot of pro wrestling, there was a triple abdominal stretch.
I would not put that as the highlight of the match, personally.
Well, I know you wouldn't.
I love it.
I'm a man of the people. I'm the people's Total Spotfest Pick'em champion, and I'm nothing if not magnanimous to my constituents. And so I tossed our boy Jamie a lion tamer as well.
He sure did. So his inaugural moment, a part of the FWO, and welcome and thank you. And he gave me a lion tamer almost for the win. It got messed up.
And for anyone listening that wasn't there, this was not the WWE lion tamer that's just a Boston crab. This was full knee on the back of the neck, because I don't half-ass things.
It was glorious. Like, I was going nuts. I was going ape shit.
So he hinted at this during the pre-show, and then when it happened, now actually I didn't sit next to Jamie because we had a friend come late. We had to squeeze in, so we had our buddy Kevin. Go to twitch.tv/KevinWK. Follow, give Kevin a follow. He was in between us, but as soon as Austin grabbed the legs and started to make the turn, Jamie shot up like the Challenger rocket going into space. I'm pretty sure his pants needed to be changed. It was just, wow, yeah. So around us we had 2 of your daughters, or only 2 of your daughters were there this time, and then we had a bunch of friends were all around Jamie, all this, and Pat was behind me, our buddy Pat, Patriot Pat, and he just could not stop laughing because he looked at you, was looking at me, he goes, he's finally getting it. And there's a cat. Unfortunately, not for the victory, so we still have to hear Lion Tamer. You do get someone to yell it at, though, because we had the Fountain City debut of in-ring debut of Jeremy Wyatt. Face Jeremy Wyatt? Question mark?
I don't think he's a face.
I don't know. I mean,
I think he just hates everybody, and especially Warhorse. Sorry, Jake Parnell.
Well, it was a good time. Fuego was good to see him. Sam Stackhouse was hilarious, and they had a great match with Camaro Jackson, and a couple months from now. So end of May is the next Fountain City show for those of you who are local and missed it, or maybe you're going to be in the area at the end of the May. Come check out Fountain City Pro. It's a real good time. Very good pro wrestling. Great crowd this time. They're definitely on the up and up, so it's highly, highly, highly recommended. As always, I have information down below if you want to follow them. Please give them a follow, 100%.
Plus, you get to hear us for the pre-show.
Yeah.
And what could be better than that? Damn near nothing. I mean,
Not much.
you can know when we go live for the pre-show. Hit a follow down below. Give us a subscribe. Hit the little bell icon. You'll be notified when we go live. Easy peasy.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, boys. Want to talk about some Dynamite?
Yes, I do.
Let's talk some Dynamite.
Who thoroughly enjoyed tonight's Dynamite to the fullest? Because I sure as shit did.
This guy. 2 women's matches.
I did not actually.
Ooh.
Oh.
If I had to go thumbs up or thumbs down at tonight's Dynamite, I'd put that shit right in the middle. I thought it was pretty mid. But we'll get into that as the night goes on.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
I told
Okay.
you AEW's floor is mid. Like their floor is just an all right 2 hours of wrestling. To me, there was nothing to really put it over the top tonight, but there was still notable good things.
Okay.
But as a whole, middle of the road.
Well,
so I tell my softball girls, it's not your floor. It's not your ceiling. It's your floor. Like, what's the worst you can do? I want to make that, like, I want to improve that. And that literally, I agree with, like, their floor is mid. I felt tonight had a lot of positive things. I think the biggest negative for me was the Jon Moxley match up until all the interference. Then it got fun. But other than that, like, I gave 0 shits about it.
And to be fair to AEW, it seemed like a mid Dynamite to me, but that is fully accepting that there is a blizzard hitting Omaha.
Yeah.
And there were probably some plans changed last minute. But, like, yeah, I thought it was more of a floor than a ceiling episode, but still worth 2 hours watching.
Sure.
And I totally get that. I thoroughly love this. Here's why. Not just because there was 2 women's matches, because there was indeed 2 women's matches, and there was that. But it was a long match, quick video, long match, couple quick videos, decently long match. I mean, your first 90 minutes was pretty much all wrestling, okay? And then you only had a few little promos mixed in there. You had a lot of wrestling in the night show. That's why I loved it so much. And you had 2 title matches. You had 2 women's matches. You had a bonkers. Let's start with how they started it. They started with the end of the tournament for the internet. I using air quotes because this is to Austin's point, this is the worst excuse for the word tournament there has ever been. When you have 4 qualifying matches and then a 4-way. That's not a tournament. That's just qualifying matches for whatever. But that number 1 contender match with Speedball Mike Bailey, Orange Cassidy, Ricochet, and Mark Davis, who was surprisingly well with these 3 flippy spinny guys. And I loved this match. I just flat out loved this match. I mean, Ricochet's crowd work is gotten so good. Speedball is fantastic. Him and Orange had a lot of good fun. Mark Davis looked great in this match too.
Yeah, when I saw the bracket last week, my first thought was Mark Briscoe's going in, but I get why Mark Davis was there. You got a bunch of smaller flippy guys, you need a base in there. Mm-hmm. And Mark Davis was solid in this match. I think this match, in theory, should have main evented the show, but in execution with the way it ended, I get why it didn't, because that might fall a little flat as the finish to the night. But yeah, this match was fun. Like, this was exactly what you could have wanted out of it.
So I'm definitely not going to be anti this match because that would be a lie. This match checked all my boxes, and I agree. Like, you know what? Like, if you got a whole bunch of flippy spinny cheerleaders, you have to have that base. You have to have that person that holds them, and that's Mark. And Mark bumped his ass off. Like, let's be real. Like, he took a lot of shots, and he ate the pin. And I liked how they did the ending. I know some people probably didn't enjoy the ending as much as I did. I absolutely loved the double pin, and it set up a triple threat with Kenny. And we were sitting here. Megan's home on spring break, so we were just sitting there talking. And the fact that they have Speedball Mike Bailey already in a title picture, literally his second match, is pretty damn impressive. That guy, the crowd absolutely loves him.
He's gotten over. It's not that he didn't get over in TNA. For some reason, though, it's like TNA never really considered him to be part of the big picture for some
He is
reason,
fine.
you know? Right? 100% signed. And but AEW total 180 with them. The crowd loved the living crap out of him. They hated Ricochet. It was a good crowd considering there was a blizzard going on in Omaha. So I loved it. I liked the ending. I thought it was nice. I think it does a couple interesting things. For one, you talk about Speedball, but for two, because you're still playing, and I don't know how much cred there is to this. Austin, if you want to speak to it, you probably know more than we do, right? But with Kenny Omega and his, how, because I know he's still coming back. He's not the Kenny Omega of old, right? He still does, and I don't know if it's just a shoot that he's favoring his intestine every week or not, but putting him in a triple threat protects him a little bit on that. So I like this.
I think more than protecting him, because I'm of the mind that Kenny Omega's back and he's back. Like, okay. I feel like diverticulitis, it's not like tearing an ACL and you come back and there's a chance you're going to tear the other one. Like, because it's a disease. I mean, they had to remove parts of his intestine and all that, but like, I feel like he's recovered. And we just saw him go 40 minutes with Takeshita. We saw that banger of a tag match in Australia. I think he's back. I love the booking of a triple threat because I don't think we need every pay-per-view an epic 40-minute Kenny Omega banger.
Yeah.
This triple threat match is so indie, and I mean it in the best way possible. Like, this is if PWG was still around, was going to throw together a random like big show, and they're like, here's our main event. You get Kenny Omega, Speedball, and Ricochet in a 3-way. Like, that kind of goes back to the AEW. They've kind of moved away from it, but their older theme of like, let's just throw a dream match out there. And I'm looking forward to the triple threat. I think that was the best outcome. And it was more exciting than Kenny Omega against any of those guys individually, except for maybe Ricochet. But I think we'll get a singles between them later on down the line.
Well, and a triple threat opens up the door because you can have the pin on one and the other is not, so best of all worlds.
Do you think it's safe to say Mike Bailey is the Canadian Ricky the Dragon Steamboat?
I mean, he looks like his bastard child, so might as well.
And he wrestles like him too.
He kind of does, right? I mean, that's not a far reach, but you're not wrong.
That's fair. That's fair. I would call him the Canadian Jerry Flynn, but that's a WCW deep cut, and not everyone might be familiar with Lightning Foot Jerry Flynn.
Oh.
I mean, Mike Bailey is much better than Jerry Flynn, but
see, that's why I think the Ricky Steamboat comp is good.
I think Steamboat's a good comp for him. He's also got that wholesome kind of, persona, right? So
talk about a guy who never went heel.
Never. Guy never went heel. A guy that went out and learned from Hollywood stunt people how to shoot fire because they thought it might be a cool gimmick to do. So he just went and just learned and came back one day and said, all right, we're just shooting fire. Just out of the blue. Vince is like, hey, do you think you can learn how to shoot fire? Sure. So he just goes to Hollywood, learns how to shoot fire, comes back 2 weeks later, and he's blowing fireballs at pay-per-views. God bless you, Ricky.
Speaking of Ricky Steamboat, I was fortunate enough and also unfortunate because overall it wasn't the greatest show, but I was at WrestleMania 25 where they did Chris Jericho against Steamboat, Piper, and Snuka. And you get Piper and Snuka out of there right away. And then you get like 8 minutes of Chris Jericho and Ricky Steamboat in the year of our Lord 2009. And Ricky Steamboat was just going it out there. And that was one of the best things. I mean, later in the night, you get Shawn Michaels and Taker in my favorite match of all time. But getting a chance, having been a little young to catch most of Ricky Steamboat's career, getting a chance to see Ricky Steamboat live was one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
was pretty cool.
Ricky Steamboat was amazing. And somebody who is going to be amazing for years to come is somebody that we all on this panel know, young Miss Billie Starkx, getting her second TBS title, first like legit, but TBS title shot against Mercedes Moné. I think Billie, they did a good job of selling the near finish for Billie several times in this match. I think she held up her own. I think the overall storytelling of the match went very well, with with Billie being the young kid and upstart going against, and Mercedes having punished her in several parts of it. But Billie had a lot of really good moves. That near fall near the end there, her little double, like that was almost disaster land the way it looked, but it looked so good. And what do you guys think about Billie Starkx on Dynamite here? I mean, we'll talk more about what the implications in a second, but what do you think of the match?
I thought the match was solid. Like, no complaints about the match itself. I don't think Billie Starkx is ready for TV. Like, I think Ring of Honor is fine. Billie Starkx just still looks very indie. And I was thinking about it during this match. And it's hard not to make the comparison because they kind of had the same gimmick of super young, grew up huge wrestling fan, and now they made it to some degree. But seeing the difference between Billie Starkx and Roxanne Perez current day from when they both got kind of signed around the same time.
Yeah.
I think it goes to show how for certain talents, maybe a lot of them, having the WWE machine to kind of polish you up makes a world of a difference. Because I think Roxanne Perez looks like a just much more complete, ready for TV performer right now. And I don't want to throw that out to talk down on Billie Starkx. Still super young, obviously going to do great things. Like, nothing bad about it, but she looked very indie to me tonight, and kind of in a different way than when I was talking about Ricochet, Kenny Omega, and Speedball. Like, that was super indie in a good way. She just didn't look like polished for TV. She'll get there, like, no doubts about it. But that was my only thing with Billie Starkx tonight.
So I disagree a little bit, just to be honest with you. Billie, this is the best I've seen Billie look on TV. Again, it has a lot to do with the dance partner. And when you have arguably the greatest female wrestler in pro wrestling today going up against you, probably not that hard to look that great. Now, did she have a few things where does she still look very green? Yes, I do agree with that. Does she need more time and more Ring of Honor time? Yes. I think she needs to be the next Ring of Honor Women's Champion. Ride that out for a while, because they also teased, Athena later. And I feel like that is the play. I'm really hoping that's the play.
It's got to be the play.
It has to be.
There's no other play.
It just makes too much damn sense.
I mean, there's no other play.
I enjoyed this match thoroughly. I thought, again, Billie looks great, but damn, Mercedes is so good. And honestly, she did one move. I was like, that needs to be your finisher. The reverse backstabber thing on the chest, whatever that was.
Yeah.
From a tombstone, it was like, that needs to be your finisher, not that whatever the hell, the moneymaker or whatever. That's shit. This is rad.
It's so bad. It's the worst finisher in pro wrestling right now.
Behind Heat Seeker. It might be tied, actually. I think it might tie it.
It only looks good a quarter of the time. You got to have the right physical specs of your opponent for it to make it look good, or else it's the physics aren't there for it. But you're right, that reverse backstabber from that looked good. Looked really good. But regardless, like I said, Billie did not proceed. Now, you talk about, so a little bit later on in the show, they did have a promo with Mercedes and Renee, and Mercedes keeps going on, who trained her? Who possibly, what scrub? Just basically throwing mad shade at Athena. there's no other place for them to go with this. I mean, they've booked her into a corner, right? Like, this is the only option. So the reason Billie Starkx has even been on our TV is for Athena. It's gotta be, right?
Yeah. And that's why, like, I say criticisms, even that's being a little too harsh. My thoughts on Billie Starkx aside, I was fine with it because this is clearly just laying the groundwork to bring Athena in here for Dynasty, where Athena should absolutely take that TBS title.
Yes.
She's the one. She's our Anakin Skywalker.
She'll come out the mic.
By the way, did you hear us yelling that like in the back?
Like, our whole section was just yelling Star Wars quotes for a solid 5 minutes.
Fantastic.
Some of them didn't go over.
Anakin Murphy. Yeah.
I was pulling some deep cuts out there that I'm pretty sure only Jamie knew there were Star Wars quotes, but but we were But she could come out to My Chemical Romance. It'd be fantastic. So my guess is we'll see Athena in person on Dynamite next week, and then we'll go from there. It is March Madness. It is March Madness again. Tournament starts tomorrow. Like I said, I am ready for at least one game with my team. We'll see if we get two. But who also is ready for March Madness? And that is the Outrunners. They have become the official mascots, unofficial mascots of the University of Omaha men's basketball team. I love this so much. This was something that was big, like back in like the 80s and 90s. Remember, Jamie, back in the day, right? People would take up Ric Flair and Macho and all this stuff, right? And it harkens back to a better time in pro wrestling. Of course, that is when the Outrunners are from, so it makes sense. But real quick thing for that. Then you go into an MJF promo, where he talks about the contenders for the title, lays out for everybody who's not maybe up to speed here who the men are who are involved in the title picture. Darby Allin, sure, Hangman Swerve and Ospreay, and then says that maybe he needs to have his pack of men to combat Dictator John. And he talks a little bit about his history with trusting people, which I thought we were past this story, but whatever. He'll have an answer for MJF next week. Quick shot from the hip. MJF, yes or no? In the Hurt Syndicate? Austin.
Quick from the hip, I'm going to say no.
Jamie.
Absolutely not. No way in hell.
I'm going to say not really. I'm going to say no, but he's going to try and use them.
I heard something, or heard or read. I think I read it on Twitter or Reddit. An idea or a theory about this that I am partial to.
Okay.
And that this is going to be a setup for MJF to turn them down, and then the Hurt Syndicate to debut their newest member, Wardlow. I think he fits in with them. I think he's the perfect other piece of the Hurt Syndicate.
Surprisingly, I don't disagree with that thought.
If you're going to bring him back, that's the way to do it.
I mean,
bring back War Daddy? Like, let's do that.
Yeah.
In a spot where he doesn't need to talk, he just goes and beats people up. I mean, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what random internet stranger threw that out, but I appreciate you, whoever you are. Because now I need it.
Yeah, let's bring that into existence. Like,
okay,
please.
Okay. Give me thoughts in chant there on War Daddy and the Hurt Syndicate. Let's see what you guys think.
Yeah.
War Daddy you already made mention of the street fight. So street fight happened. And the first 2/3 of it was a street fight. Okay. But then all hell breaks.
No blood.
No blood until.
And there was blood.
All right. So they actually used the spike. They actually used Spike. They actually used it, the spike part of Spike on Moxley, which made me, of course, think it's a gimmick, nails and all this stuff. Until he goes and smacks him in the back and the whole bat stays in his back.
No, it wasn't the smack in the back. It was the suplex. Because those nails were gimmick.
That's right.
Because he hit him in the stomach and he hit him in the back. No blood.
It was the suplex
then he suplexed
onto
on him.
it.
That was gnarly. And that was the only part of the match that wasn't just, hey, did you not like the Revolution main event? Here's more not to like.
Here's more not to like.
It was just boring, aimless brawling for 15 minutes. And then a really cool spike spot, then a bunch of run-ins. And just thank God this is hopefully now over.
My all-time favorite, though, has to be, so they do the suplex onto the bat, and here comes Wheeler Yuta out to interfere about the same time, right? And then he goes to remove the spike, the bat from Moxley's back and couldn't, and it just so happened to get a zoom in at the same time of him trying to pull the spikes out and his skin just stretching along with it. And you have to crowd
between the rubber nails.
Yeah.
So when you first saw it, I believe all of us are on the same page. Those look 100% like rubber nails, right?
100% rubber.
And I still think they're 100% rubber nails.
Like the real hard rubber.
Pinch his skin and because he got suplex on because he's a 200-pound man.
I think it was blunt force drove those into his spine.
Well, after the ref finally got the bat off at the end of the match, you saw it looked like just a pin cushion. There was no slashing or tearing. It was just a bunch of little holes on his back. So, I mean, it looked cool. And it looked gnarly for a second there with the skin kind of attached to it and pulling,
Right. I was very happy.
You had full run-ins. The return of all the Death Riders, including Marina Shafir. You had combat by the FTR coming out and Willow Nightingale. And I will say this about commentary. They seem to be a lot more free lately. They're not so much scripted anymore because there were several parts of the night where they'd say something and one of the person was laughing so hard at the other person they had to cut their own mic off, right? And then one of the times I noticed this was during this match when Taz talks about how it's not a good thing when you get suplexed by somebody in a sweater. Talking about
yeah, it's a bad day.
You heard Tony Schiavone start to giggle, and then immediately there was a mute button hit. He just said,
you know what I think disappointed me the most about this match? Early on, they start brawling backstage. Mox cuts off Cope and is like, you want an Omaha street fight? Let's take it to the Omaha streets. And you hear the crowd pop about it. And then your babyface Cope cuts him off and takes it into the arena. I wanted to see them go out and fight in the blizzard a little bit. Like, that would have been much cooler than them just aimlessly punching each other through the backstage for the first 8 minutes.
Agreed. This is another reason why I hated this whole feud.
This should be the end of Cope now. He lost the match, right? Dax Harwood was being all pissy afterwards and didn't want to shake Cope's hand, didn't want to shake Cash's hand. He walks off. So, knock on wood, we're done with Copeland in the title scene. We can move on. Officially Swerve versus Moxley at Dynasty. Let's put this behind us and just move forward.
I feel like they're going to stretch this dumb thing out for at least one more match.
How? I don't know how you could.
Oh, I know how. How many members? How many members?
There's going to be a trios title match at Dynasty.
No. How many members of Death Riders are there, including Marina Shafir?
5.
Yeah.
What other match do we know of?
Blood and Guts.
I think that happens after Dynasty, though.
Yeah, after.
And I still don't know. So it seems very much like they're circling back to Edge and Christian again.
Yeah.
Which isn't terrible. It's probably better than anything else you can do with Cope right now.
Absolutely. That's
gold.
I
think Cope's done with the AEW title, at least for a while. And hopefully Mox is too after Dynasty. Like, let's put it on Swerve.
Yep.
Let's ramp up to All In season. Let's build a Swerve and Ospreay at All In because it seems like that's where this is going.
More than likely.
I think you immediately turn around everything going on with the Death Riders once the title's gone. And I think you could still get to Blood and Guts because you could still have on Cope. Cope has time to assemble a new team. You can have Cope, Willow. The FTRs are out, which I think we're getting FTR heel turn. I don't think they're splitting. And I think we need an FTR heel turn before too long. But you're probably going to get Eddie Kingston back before too long. You're probably going to get Darby back before too long. It could be Cope, Darby, Eddie Kingston, and Pick'em and Willow.
Man, you still got Jay White out there, right? And potentially you could do Jay White and the Ass Boys if you wanted. You know, there's options.
Yeah, there's options. But let's get the title out of this because this whole Death Riders thing would have been great without the title the whole time. Like, there's just so much more you could have done instead of, oh, Death Riders run in, Mox retains. We haven't seen the AEW title, the best looking title in pro wrestling in 6 months.
So let me throw this out there then, gentlemen, because now you got the wheels a turning.
Oh, we're on fancy.
There was a Hangman promo where he adamantly said that he would never allow Swerve to have the title again. Why do I feel like he's gonna help him win it and go full blown babyface?
Because that's good storytelling. Like, you got to get there. Like, you can't just have him randomly do it, but you've got a few weeks to build to it and get Hanger somewhat involved with the Death Riders where it comes down to make that decision. And that builds on the story you're telling of him becoming a full-fledged babyface again, is him doing the right thing and helping Swerve win.
Well, the exact thing he said in his promo, because he said that he had mentioned before that he would do everything in his power to make sure that Swerve never held the title. And then he said, quote, "I am nothing if not a man of my words." Then he puts his hat in the ring for the Owen Hart tournament. I don't feel he's going to help him win the title. I don't feel like he's going to keep him from winning the title either, though. You know? I don't know. I feel like that's the wild card in this whole situation because, like, we've all pontificated enough about it. Swerve, Ospreay for All In, right? That's the play, more than likely, right? But Hanger's got to figure in this somewhere, and just from those little few words, I've said this, and I am a man of my words, right? I mean,
see, but that's why Hanger has to get involved one way or another at Dynasty, because it's a Chekhov's gun kind of thing. You can't have him say that and then just not show up and be like, well, maybe Swerve wins. And if I don't think Mox retaining by some other way means and Hanger not getting involved at all pays that off. Like, I feel like that line was very intentional. So he's got to factor in somehow.
So
I think
to keep Swerve from getting the title at Dynasty.
Well, I think Swerve's going to get it at Dynasty, and I think Hanger's going to be involved. And you've got 3 weeks now, maybe, to flesh that story out and give us a reason why Hanger goes back on that, which I think you can do. And that ends up being the babyface move, but you got to have some interaction with Hanger and the Death Riders between now and then to kind of steer him in that direction.
Jamie,
Either way,
Jamie, do you feel him going back on his word would be a good thing for Hanger?
Absolutely, I do. So here's my thought, and here's my whole thought process on this: is there's no way in hell Swerve going by himself. We already know this. The numbers are too great.
Numbers, right?
So he needs to assemble his Infinity Stones, if you will, and the hardest one to get is gonna be Hanger. Like, it just writes itself, because then you get the true babyface, and through all the things, once we're enemies, now they're friends. Like Mega Power style, you know what I'm saying? Like,
you just can't get over this Mega Power.
Well, no, but seriously, like it writes itself. Like the story arc of Hanger from angry millennial Hanger, to this like low point, I want to kill everybody Hanger, to this confused Hanger, to next thing ultimate babyface. I'm gonna strap a rocket on his back, and then he's gonna be a champion by the end of the year for a very long title run.
Yeah, I mean, I like that. I'm more of the camp that along that same line, Jamie, but not more of the enemy of my enemy sort of thing, more than anything else, right? I know you hate me and you don't want me to have this title, but the bigger evil is him having the title, right? That's the pitch. That's the pitch to Hangman.
I think there's a deeper story you can tell there. Hanger's descent started with Swerve. And I think if you do it right, you can tell the story that's him becoming himself again. He's got to finally let the shit with Swerve go, because that's what sent him down that spiral. That's what turned him into heel Hanger for the year plus he was.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a very good story point for him to finally be like, I'm not going to let hating Swerve consume me anymore. And I think you can visually tell that by having him help Swerve in the end. And maybe he does it for himself. And that's a babyface move, is, you know what? I said he was never going to hold the title, but I realized that was holding back the whole time, was being too focused on Swerve. There's potential. They got to do it right, but the potential's there.
Well, I feel like that.
Just think about this. Think about this. Somebody on this show has been champion a lot.
Jesus Christ, can we
and
move on?
There's one person he is adamant about not wanting to win. So what does he do? He forms an alliance to make sure said person doesn't win. And he removes the belt from himself to give it to somebody else, to elevate them to the main event level that they deserve, while still keeping the person that I want to make sure doesn't have the belt.
Yeah,
That's
and the baby faces end up on top. That's just good storytelling.
Oh yeah, you guys are definitely not the baby faces in this story. You know this, 100%. And okay, boom to both of you for making this about yourselves. But let's move on.
I would never make it about myself. What are you talking about?
Quick Bandito promo. He's going to fight Johnny TV, and he's told Jericho to bring his brother's mask on Sunday. So we get post basketball Collision both Saturday and Sunday this week. So stick around after basketball, y'all. There's wrestling and a lot of it. They announced the card. There's a shitload of matches they have on these here.
Quick note on that. I absolutely love what they're doing with that.
Yeah,
you got the tournament going on. You're up late on a Saturday and Sunday watching college basketball. Catch an hour of pro wrestling afterwards, because I think they're doing hour shows. They're just splitting Collision into 2 separate hours, different days. Beautiful.
Yeah, because they don't know. It could be on. It could be on at 9:30. It could be on at midnight. Who knows, right? Depends on So they. But I love it. I think it's great. I think you get that roll in from basketball. Fuck yeah.
Everybody's got a few beers in them. Of course, they're going to watch a little wrestling.
I mean, yeah, why not? Will Ospreay, AR Fox, a nice, quick, fun match. AR Fox.
Good too.
AR Fox is
the shit out of this match.
So underappreciated, I feel. And every time we get we get AR Fox in an actual match on TV, we say the same thing every time, Jamie. So underappreciated, right? But it was fun to see. It was a good match.
I was surprised by how short it was.
Yeah.
Well,
I think Ospreay is legitimately still not healthy.
No, he's lucky he didn't shatter his hip on that. That's a deep bruise. That's one of those that doesn't go away in a week or two. That's,
good point.
You knew as soon as he landed too, it's like, yep, that's not good. He's lucky he didn't. If he was 5 years older, he might have totally fucked up his hip.
He'd be walking like Matt Hardy.
Pretty much.
You gotta make sure to keep that delete horizontal.
Oh, I
Also
got a
just
little,
really
I got a little north there on the last one.
Yeah,
I
you
was
got
laughing.
a little
I was
north with
falling
it.
back and I went, yeah. Okay. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we end the show. Our main event is the second women's match of the night, a return match, but one that was very welcome. Megan Bayne versus Chris Statlander. Not an official first number one contender match, but they kind of, sold it like such, especially considering that you have Toni Storm on commentary, which I don't know about you, but the highlight of my night always is when Toni Storm goes to commentary.
The Stormoto Dragon.
We got that.
Walking soundbite, dude. Walking soundbite.
I mean, we had other gems like, Tony Schiavone telling her about how much they love the Hollywood ending, and Tony Storm saying, "Yes, of course." And I know, and you had your own Hollywood ending that you loved very much. Of course, that one was $45 for the pleasure, Tony Schiavone.
Yeah, when she heard Taz starting to lose it.
Excalibur almost lost it several times here. Talking about Megan Bayne and her big, juicy muscles. That's, of course, because she lives in a Greek restaurant. And then I like her commentary about 2/3 of the way through the match, how both these women have the big meaty thighs. Those legs are for crushing watermelons. And then goes on like a 30-second watermelon crushing with your thigh tangent, which was fantastic. Oh my God, Tony. Don't ever stop. My favorite soundbite of the night, though, had to be when she was talking to, I believe it was Taz, and said, "You could do with your sword being pulled."
Toni Storm is the gift that just keeps on giving.
I mean,
and you guys didn't want Timeless back anymore. Shame on you.
I still think she should just be Toni Storm.
He doesn't. I didn't not want it. I thought it'd be better to do something else, but nah. Timeless is the way. How about the match itself? Toni Storm commentary aside, we've seen this match a few weeks ago. Right? It was good then, and it was good this time too. And the crowd was definitely into it.
Yeah, this match had everything you want. Chris Statlander busted out an old school move she hasn't done since she blew out her knee for the third time, and that's that backflip off of the apron onto somebody, on the side. That was a nice little touch. Dude, Megan Bayne's good. Like, she just has no personality. Like, she is Lance Storm. But she's big, beefy, and I mean, she is an attraction. Like, they just got to keep selling her as an attraction, and she'll get over that way.
It's just a real interesting spot with her, because now it's official. Her and Toni Storm at Dynasty.
Yep.
I don't think you can just take the title off Toni this soon.
No.
But now you're set to Megan Bayne to eat a loss. I get they're just having her beat everybody, win her way up there. I wouldn't have mind Toni getting involved here and Megan Bayne eating a pin, even if it was a roll up. And then let's do Megan Bayne and Statlander 3 in a week or two for the shot at Dynasty. I think Megan Bayne is more interesting if she eats a loss here or there, and she's not just unstoppable, but just very hard to beat. We saw the unstoppable thing with Jade Cargill. Megan Bayne doesn't have the personality to pull off just unstoppable monster forever. But it seems like Toni will beat her at Dynasty, and then we'll kind of settle her down a bit and hopefully get her into some interesting stories. There's value there. Good part of the roster. Glad she's there. Probably getting pushed a little too soon, but I'm interested to see where they go from Dynasty with her.
I mean, I feel like the crowd is warming up more to her in ring, now that she's been around for a little bit. And that's, and she's put on some pretty good solid matches that, mostly with Chris Statlander, and that's, a like for like scenario, but she's still getting a little bit over as far as the in-ring goes, And I understand they tried to kind of alleviate some of that by giving her Penelope, right? Which is fine, right? but it's not an actual voice. It's not an actual manager. It's not the actual thing that she needs, right? You know, if Penelope was talking her up the whole time, that'd be different. But she's not. She's just another competitor who she's just kind of paired up with, right?
Yeah, she's just there.
Yeah, and she's only there for half the time because she got thrown out, right? So, and I know Jamie's answer is, of course, you know, to put him up with. Jamie only has one answer for any time. We talk about putting anybody with a manager, right? You know, that's Stokely Hathaway. But I mean, I'm fine with that. Put it with Stokely. Put it with any other somebody, right? If you brought back Saraya as her manager, right, or as her voice, you know, I don't care. I just feel like she needs something else because I think that the yelling and screaming they did back and forth in their like no-sell German suplex phase in this match was the most she's verbalized since I've seen her in AEW.
You know, I love Stokely, but you know who I'd like to see put with Megan Bayne? Don Callis.
Ooh, yeah.
That's
Never part of the Don
perfect.
Callis family. I think that just
And
fit.
I think that fits Don Callis perfectly. Is
It
to
does.
here's the new hot thing. The lady coming out here and trucking everybody. I want her on my team. And I think Don Callis would be perfect with Megan Bayne.
Or the Hurt Business. Or her syndicate. Sorry. I think I agree. Like, I think Stokely would not suit her. I think it needs to be somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you can make it work, but I think the problem with Megan Bayne and the Hurt Syndicate is they're already kind of like leaning face a little bit. They're still heels, but they're getting cheered. The crowd loves Lashley and Shelton, and they're more of just show up and beat people up. I think Don Callis would be the perfect person to elevate Megan Bayne, make her seem like a bigger deal. Not that she doesn't already seem like a fairly big deal.
Well, it checks his boxes. She has a Japanese history, okay, right? She's up and comer, young, you know, very much in the same mold as Takeshita and some others as well, too.
Yeah.
Well, boys, that was Dynamite.
It was Dynamite.
Dude, you forgot about afterwards. You forgot about Toni challenging her and calling her a big bitch.
That was funny.
And saying, you know, the one thing she knows is the taller they are, the harder they come.
The bigger they are, the harder they come. God bless you, Toni Storm. I still the talking about a Hollywood ending for $45. That still just pops the living shit out.
It was pretty solid.
All right, so that was Dynamite. Like I said,
yeah.
Go ahead.
For Dynasty right now, we've got Mox and Swerve confirmed, Omega, Speedball, and Ricochet confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
Toni Storm, Megan Bayne confirmed. Likely Mercedes and Athena.
Probably going to have trios title of Death Riders versus Cope and maybe FTR.
Oh, FTR is going to be involved.
I think that's how FTR goes heel. But anyway.
I don't know. I see that happening on TV.
I can see that too.
We'll see. I'm interested to see what happens. Now, it could be Death Riders trios titles against Christian, Kip Sabian, and Nick Wayne.
There's that too. I mean, you also everybody's talking about the Owen. Didn't they start the Owen at the Dynasty last year?
Have they announced
right after?
I thought they started
it. No, they did one.
Yeah, they did the Bryan Danielson match, didn't they?
Was that Dynasty or Forbidden Door?
I can't remember. I thought it was Dynasty is when they started it. The Owen Hart's leading up to All In. So
yeah. And All In's earlier this year. I think they did it at Forbidden Door because wasn't it Danielson and Kojima?
Yes, that was the first round match.
I think that was Forbidden Door. Either way, I'm always excited about tournament time. So bring on the Owen.
All right. All right, so that was Dynamite, boys. Elsewhere, other news. It is still sign pointing season, and something that's become somewhat of an annual tradition in sign pointing season is doing a Monday Night Raw over in Europe. And God bless those European crowds. First of all, Jamie and I, especially Jamie, like to hang our hats on. We're the chant starters, right? We count it down, we get it going. Jamie gets them all set up. We're really big on that. And I will be a man and stand up here and tell you, we got nothing on these Europeans, Jamie. Bro, they're on
We thought we had our shit together. They're like hold my schnitzel,
They're on another level, They don't even have to communicate. Everybody just fantastic. But I love the atmosphere, I felt like, because I watched a good part of the Raw, this past week, and I thought overall it was fine. It wasn't, groundbreaking from what they've been doing the past few weeks here. Had a couple real good segments though, but I feel like just that European crowd just gives it that extra oomph, right? They go all out. The big most talked about thing though from Raw this past week in the build up for WrestleMania was the John Cena promo / Cody Rhodes promo. John Cena comes out in his regular music, in his regular look, and he tells his whole reason for turning heel was because the fans didn't appreciate him. Well, we've seen this song and dance, right? But woe is me, you guys suck, so fuck you, that sort of shtick. And he said, you don't get a new entrance, or you don't get a new dress. You dress like me. You don't get a new gimmick. You don't get a new song. That is my song. You get nothing. I love this, that he is not changing his look or his song for his heel. The justification he gave to it. It was a little bit of a whiny bitch, but it was so well delivered.
You know what it was? It's the Willy Wonka speech. At the end of Willy Wonka.
You get nothing.
Good day, sir.
I said good day.
It's one of my favorite movies of all time. So
Gene Wilder was amazing.
Gene Wilder has a near and dear spot in my heart. Young Frankenstein.
Blazing Saddles.
Blazing Saddles. Hey, look, this is my shooting head.
I gotta say, with the Cena stuff, while it's good in a vacuum, even with Monday's promo, I still have the same thought I had after Elimination Chamber of this would have been way better a decade ago.
100%. I don't disagree with that in the least. I'm not putting this up there on the level of the original NWO, like some are, right? It's not. Yeah. Okay. But it is very good. It's very good the way they're doing it.
Especially like Cena's angle of you guys didn't appreciate me. Dude, you've been gone. And they've cheered their ass off every time you've showed up. But like I said, in a vacuum, it was great. And I do think it makes the WrestleMania match with Cody Rhodes seem like a bigger deal. It makes it seem more like a proper WrestleMania main event.
Yeah.
As opposed to our other WrestleMania title match, because Jey Uso and Gunther's a thing that's still going to happen. Which, have y'all seen between like the Raw, SmackDowns, the house shows and stuff? They're letting Gunther finally go on a tear of just having dope-ass wrestling matches.
Yeah.
After doing nothing with his title reign for the better part of a year.
Gunther has long been, back to his Walter days, has long been one of the best wrestlers in the world, man. Let the man go. So...
he should win at Mania.
Yeah, he should. And, it was... I think it was good for the Cena thing on this angle, Jamie, is that to Austin's point, in a vacuum, yes, but I think also it does give some gravitas to a match that is between your current poster boy and your previous poster boy who's a part-timer, right? Why would you be excited about that match? Realistically, well, now you've got some semblance of excitement, I get you take a 300-foot view. Yes, it's passing a torch, whatever. Cody's no spring chicken, so that flies, that washes off me, So I don't know. I thought it was an excellent promo though. Maybe it was compounded by the fact that, like I said, the Belgian crowd was hot.
My hot take is Cena's walking out with that belt. Hot take.
I don't
think
Call
so.
my shot.
I don't think so. I think we're gonna get a remix of last year's Mania where there's gonna be a bunch of run-ins at the end. Stone Cold is in Vegas for Mania week because he's doing some other WWE stuff, and I know they wanted him last year and didn't get him. I think we're gonna get a big overbooked, which the end of last year's Mania was fun. So I don't mean overbooked in a bad thing, like why are we doing all this? But I think we're gonna get a bunch of run-ins, bunch of nonsense. I think Cody retains. I think if you were gonna turn Cena here, you still get him that 17th title shot or that title, but you do it later in the year when he comes to his senses. He becomes a good guy again. He wins it one more time. You get a nice, like you can't end the Cena run with just heel Cena. So yeah. I think Cody retains here and Cena gets it sometime later on in the year.
So you're saying that Cena losing to Cody, I won't say breaks him, but breaks his heelness of him, maybe cracks that armor a little bit. He does a face turn around SummerSlam-ish, gets a title then.
Yeah.
And then rides out and go. Because he said end of the year is when he's retiring. So
yeah. So he's there through December. I think, you keep him heel through SummerSlam. Because if it's WWE, you're going to get Cena and Cody at Mania. You're probably going to get them again at Backlash. And maybe one more time in a gimmick match after that. But by the time you get to SummerSlam, it's been long enough that Cena goes back to just being babyface John Cena. Everyone cheers for him again. And then he finally, I like the idea of telling a year-long story with this final year, not just Cena wins the title. Because if he wins it at Mania, now we've got another part-time champion through the bulk of the year until you have him drop it.
Yeah.
And it's been so nice having a champion that's been out there every week since Cody won the title.
You're not wrong.
And you see the belt all the time.
Yeah. It's not in a briefcase, allegedly.
Allegedly is the right word, my man. I'm telling you.
Now, JJ, did you watch all of Raw?
I didn't watch the whole thing. No, I watched that. I watched a good chunk of it. I saw the whole Intercontinental thing they were doing there. Spoiler alert: they're pushing Penta to the front of the Intercontinental race.
That's why I asked. Did you see Penta and Kaiser?
I did.
I didn't, but I was looking forward to that. Was it as good as expected?
I don't think it was as good as we would have wanted it to, because it had. But it yes, for the most part, I would say it's worth watching.
Nice.
I'll have to go back I feel like if that was on a pay-per-view, it would be bonkers, crazy good, right? But TV Penta and Kaiser was very good, worth it to watch.
Now, let me throw a question, since we're still on the Fed, and they're doing some interesting stuff this time of year. They're heating up to a decent Mania. Intercontinental title, sign point season. Intercontinental title at Mania. Would y'all rather see Braun and Penta, or would y'all rather have seen Braun and Jacob Fatu?
Braun and Penta. I'm sorry, I'm a Penta stan. I'm going Braun Penta.
No way.
I feel like I still would have seen Braun and Jacob Fatu. Bring back a Steiner versus Samoan. We did it at WrestleMania 9 with 2 on each side, and it was phenomenal. If you haven't seen the match, well worth a watch. One of the high spots from what's largely agreed on as the worst WrestleMania of all time. For me personally, 11 is the worst of all time. 11 is the worst. 2 is right behind it, and then 9. But the Steiners versus the Head Shrinkers from WrestleMania 9 is
was
some of the best early 90s.
Was 9 the Caesar's Palace one, or was that 10?
Yes.
Okay.
9
was Caesar Palace. 10 was Madison Square Garden with Razor and HBK. And
oh, that's right. The first ladder match.
Right now.
Oh, that was so good. It's so good. I remember when we were kids and when we were young and WrestleMania 10 was live, like a ladder match. We never heard of what a ladder match was, Jamie. It's the craziest thing. It's like, what are they?
Oh,
They're
remember
doing
when the
what?
first TLC happened?
First TLC, we almost lost our ever-loving minds. We're like, what?
The Hardcore Championship, dude. This is a wild time. Wild time.
Yeah, that first TLC, I was like, wait, they can have tables, ladders, and chairs in the same match? Now you got tables, ladders, and chairs in a match. That's just a Dynamite.
Yeah,
that can
that's
happen
Wednesday.
on any Wednesday.
That's Wednesday night, folks. No, but the first ladder match. The first ladder match was, and that was just mind bending at the time because we were just like, wait, a ladder? What? Oh, so they're gonna hang it above? What? Remember, this is back in like the old blue big hole steel cage, right? You know, so it was a different world of wrestling back then. But that match went so hard. Oh my god! All right,
WrestleMania 10 was flames.
It was great.
They had to make up. Opener.
I mean, they had to make up for 9. 9 was such ass. Oh my god.
I think 9 gets a little underrated because of how bad the end of the pay-per-view was with Hogan just stealing the title.
It was just so bad. It was so dumb.
One, as I've said many times in the past on the show, I enjoy when pro wrestling is kind of silly, and having it at Caesar's Palace with everyone out there in a toga. And they literally having Caesar there.
Did he freeze for you? Yeah, he froze.
He froze.
He's 100% frozen.
He's
frozen. I'm good. That's
phenomenal.
Gotta get a screenshot of that. That's a fantastic face he's frozen on too there.
Oh hey!
Austin X back, ladies and gentlemen. You froze like a son of a bitch there. Talk about toga and then you froze.
See, I froze. Even the internet did not want me to put over the Undertaker. One of my favorite WrestleMania matches of all time because of how absolutely absurd it is watching Undertaker fight this 8-foot tall dude in a muscle, hairy bodysuit. Loved it.
He was so bad.
I mean,
okay, hold on. Who's worse, him or the Great Khali as a wrestler?
Oh,
Giant
Jesus.
Gonzalez.
They're about the same, if you ask me.
I don't know. I can't make a choice. I'm gonna say Khali as a wrestler.
I'm gonna say Giant Gonzalez was worse because Khali could move all right early on. After the first year or two, he started getting way less mobile. But I think the other thing too is Khali with his face. He looks like an Easter Island statue. Like he looks like an actual giant. Giant Gonzalez looked like a real big but kind of nice Argentinian dude. And the attire was so silly with Giant Gonzalez.
Oh, the attire was horrendous. It was so bad. And wasn't that WrestleMania? If I may be mistaken, I might be thinking of a SummerSlam they did or something. Wasn't that WrestleMania like unseasonably hot too?
Probably.
I think it was like unseasonably hot. People talked about how unbearable it was to be there for it because it was like right in the middle of the day.
They were outdoors in Vegas.
Yeah, like in the sun, and it was god.
Then that was Bret Hart Yokozuna then, right?
That was Bret Hart Yokozuna. Yeah. Yep.
Where Hogan comes in afterwards, challenges Yokozuna to a match, beats him in like 90 seconds.
He does a power slam of Yokozuna and walks out with the title.
Because earlier in the night, you get Hogan and Beefcake against Money Inc.
Yeah, I remember that.
They win by DQ, but don't win the titles. And then, Hogan comes back. And Hogan's got the black eye from his... The story, from Hogan's point, it was a jet skiing accident. The rumor is that Macho Man punched him in the face, which I like to believe that version of events.
Oh, 100%. That's got to be true. From what we know from Hogan now, yeah, that's definitely true.
Yeah, I bet this is how it went down. Vince is like, hey, you're not going to win a belt tonight. And then here comes Hogan. That's not going to work for me, brother. You know, it's like, I got to get me gold. It's like, all right, we're gonna have Yoko win, and then there you go. It's like,
so the story is they were going on a European tour, and Hogan was still big on Europe, so they thought they'd put him on the title for that little put him on top for that little bit of run. Supposedly, he had agreed beforehand that he would drop the title back to Bret at SummerSlam, but never had any intention of doing that. You get to King of the Ring. Hogan drops the title back to Yokozuna, and Mr. Fuji poses as a photographer and flashes him in the eyes with the fireball. Just real silly 1993. Another fun part about the WrestleMania is you get Shawn Michaels and Tatanka in the opener. It was supposed to be Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty, but Marty Jannetty got fired for being Marty Jannetty. So you didn't get that match, which would have been a great WrestleMania match.
Yeah.
I've watched
Early
too
90s.
much pro wrestling.
We weren't going to have a stash of knowledge.
Can
But
I just ask the question, since we're going down memory lane here, and this is like an impromptu stash of knowledge almost. But back then specifically,
exactly, Rob.
what the hell did Marty Jannetty do in order to actually get fired? Because those guys were doing some of the most debaucherous things
Oh, yes.
nightly. It's still
It kind of gets forgotten or flies under the radar, but the Rockers got fired on their first tag team run in the WWF. Partying too hard, causing problems. I'm sure Marty did the exact same thing. It was either legal trouble or a failed drug test. But yeah, because they brought him back because they started Raw that January, was the first Raw.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then Marty Jannetty came back for a little while, and they were supposed to build it him and Shawn for the Intercontinental title at Mania.
Because that
and then
makes
Marty
sense.
Jannetty got fired because Marty Jannetty is Marty Jannetty. So I don't remember exactly what it was. Probably a failed drug test. Might have just been general getting in trouble, which he was known to do.
See, because a lot of the guys did a lot of debaucherous shit, but they didn't do a lot of, like, get caught illegally doing debaucherous shit sort of stuff, right? You know? Marty had harder substance problems from what I remember than
Most
just
of them
drinking.
did.
Most of them did, but a lot of them that didn't also fail the drug tests either, right? There's ways around that, but you know how it is. And let's be real, this is early 90s WWE. Depending on what your name was, you had a better shot of passing a drug test than somebody else.
And that's the thing. By that time, Shawn Michaels was clearly who they were going with. You bring Marty back, he causes some problems. He's expendable to you at the time. I still wish we would have got that WrestleMania match, but Marty wasn't a made guy. To put it lightly.
I mean, it was
Joe Pesci from Goodfellas.
Absolutely, 100%. And you know, and the writing was on the wall because from when it was the greatest heel turn ever, and then almost immediately you forgot about Marty Jannetty because Shawn Michaels just went on a fucking rocket ship after that. You know, Marty was still here
because he super kicks Marty Jannetty through the barbershop window in late '91. And then Shawn Michaels' 92 heel run is phenomenal from top to bottom.
Oh, yeah.
That, it kind of it flies under the radar. It's one of those things you forget about that Survivor Series 92. You get Shawn and Bret in the main event when they're both kind of just young and up and coming guys. And that's a phenomenal match.
I remember. So my mom wasn't into wrestling, but she kept an eye on what I did, right? Enough that she hated Heartbreak Kid. Like when he did that and he went on his like the music and the gyrate, she hated him, which is the sign of a fantastic heel. Because he had this late 80s, early 90s, you know, stay-at-home mom. You done a good job. You done a good job, Sean. But yeah, she hated him so much.
One of my favorite Shawn Michaels matches of all time is from 92. It's SummerSlam 92. It's him and Rick Martel, where Sherry's at ringside and kind of with both of them. They've agreed not to hit each other in the face. It ends up with them fighting and Sherry like pretending to faint to get them to stop and them still just fighting to the back. 92 is a phenomenal year of pro wrestling, especially in the WWF.
We didn't even have a stash of knowledge tonight, y'all. That was just an impromptu trip down memory lane here. So, you boys, have anything else you want to add this week?
Actually, you know what? I have one last item, And ladies and gentlemen, big news out of the Faulkner house. We have a new member to the family. We have a banana ball python by the name of Nagini. Shocker that the name is Nagini.
Wow.
My daughter named her boy ball python that she saved up all of her pennies for. He's in his tank right now, probably causing a ruckus. We get to feed him tomorrow. Really excited about feeding him. But yeah, so the Faulkner house now has a snake. We have 2 dogs, a cat, 4 daughters, and a snake. Oh, and my beautiful, amazingly beautiful wife.
Well, she is queen of the castle. We love you, Jen.
Dude, I can't make that up.
So you ever fed a steak before, Jamie?
No. Oh, well, I've been there.
Okay.
It's
so
fun.
my best friend back when we were in college, we lived in a fraternity house. He had a ball python, and we feed it once a week, I think is what we did, whatever. Yeah. So this one time, and it's pretty simple. So we go down to the pet shop, get a little mouse, come in. We just take the box, dump it in the thing, go down to dinner. We always did it like before we went down to dinner, right? So this one week, I actually drove him over there after class. We went to go pick up the mouse. He gets I need a mouse for my, okay, here you go. He goes, this one feels a little heavier than usual, right? So didn't think nothing of it. We put him in there. We go down to dinner. We come back up. And this mouse was not going down without a fight. So Romulus was the snake's name. He had him locked on, and he started to wrap around, but the mouse fought back and was biting him. So they were like in this like, I bite you, you bite me, sort of like stalemate. And it was just, wow. So Matt had to get in there, and he's trying to like get the mouse out of because Romulus wouldn't let go. He would not let go of this mouse. This mouse was also like latched onto his body as well. It was a power struggle. So hopefully you have a properly sized snack for that snake tomorrow.
Oh yeah, they're frozen. They're frozen in my freezer right now.
Oh, your frozen ones. Okay, that's a smarter way to do it. Yeah. We went with the live one, and that was not the smartest idea apparently. So
well, they told me to do like a live every now and again just to give him some exercise, a little sport.
Yeah, so there you go.
Not a problem.
Do you ever had any reptiles, Austin?
I had an iguana when I was in the 5th grade.
Nice.
And it ran away. So my parents told me.
So that's what your parents told you?
Your parents.
I think it escaped. I think it escaped its cage and the dog ate it. Is probably what actually happened. But I think we're right. But that was my only foray into reptiles. My wife used to have snakes.
Really?
I'm not a snake guy. Like they don't do tricks. They don't do nothing. Like
I don't mind.
They're super chill, and I love them.
I don't mind.
They're just so chill.
So we used to mess with one of my fraternity brothers. The guy, he's actually a beat writer for the Red Sox. Okay, but back in college when he was in journalism school, deathly afraid of snakes, and he wouldn't even come to our room when Matt had Romulus, right? And so we used to take him out as a party trick, basically wear him around like a necklace around our shoulders and walk around, and it would freak him out to no end, right? Well, Romulus got out one time, and for 2 weeks straight, this guy, he would not walk into the front of the because we lived in the front part of the fraternity house, right? He would always go back to the backside to like the side entrance, and we found him. He was just kind of chilling in the back of Matt's closet. It was no big deal, right? The guy was chill as hell. Good snake. He's no longer with us, but he's fantastic. So, congratulations. Congratulate Audrey as well on Nagini. Shocking name.
Yes.
Speaking of snakes, remember when they put Jake Roberts with LFI for like 2 weeks and then just never mentioned it again?
Yeah. That's kind of how it goes.
Catering. That's where they got me.
Oh, good old Jake the Snake, man. All right.
That's the only one I feel like I can actually do pretty well is the Jake.
You do that really solid. I mean, your Bruce Pritchard is comically good. It's not Bruce Pritchard, but it's close enough.
It's supposed to be overly top.
It is.
But it works.
Yeah.
You or an enemy. Now you guys are together. I'm going to call you the Mega Powers.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is all we have time for. I think that's a fantastic way to end. So, to recap, if you guys have not already, down in our description box below, I have all the information for our friends over at Fountain City Pro. Please go give them a follow. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all the things. Give us a follow while you're out there. It's at Total Spotfest, wherever you go. We will be back next week, same bad time, same bad channel. We're inching closer. We're about, 3 weeks out, 3.5 weeks from Dynasty. And then we just got a couple weeks till WrestleMania. So lots of wrestling pay-per-views in April. So we will keep you guys informed of everything. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We appreciate you guys giving us some of your time. Jamie, take us home, man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not down with Total Spot Fest, I got 2 words for you.
That's for Austin.
Go Drake.
I hate this place.
You want to clarify, you mean the basketball team and not the rapper.
No, yeah, he means the rapper. He 100%. He 100%. Start from the bottom. Now you're still at the bottom. I hate you so much.
That's where you are, bud. We're on top.
All right, we'll see you next week.
Later.